Hello, and welcome to another episode of Black Coffee Talks. I'm your host, Rodney Cork. Welcome to this issue where we're black men getting into bold, dark, unsweetened dialogue. Today, we've got a great topic here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about the state of college football. If you're a college football fan like me, I know you're saddened because the season's over, but also you're looking forward to the next season and all the things to come. I've got two great guests to me, and we're going to get into it on this next episode of Black Coffee Talks. Let's get it. This is Black Coffee Talks, where black men get together to discuss, debate, even argue about relevant topics of the day from a black man's perspective. Whether it's relationships, sports, politics, religion, nothing is off limits. Nothing is out of bounds. So put your big boy pants on, grab you a cup of coffee, and let's get into some bold, dark, but unsweetened dialogue. This is Black Coffee Talks with your host, Rodney Cork. Let's get it. Welcome back to Black Coffee Talks, where we're black men getting into bold, dark, and unsweetened dialogue. Like I said today, I've got two former college football players with me today, and we're going to get into the state of college football and just college sports in general in the post NIL and transfer portal days. There are a bunch of things that have taken place over the last couple of years within college football that has completely changed the game. And now we're going to talk about it. So today I have with me one of my favorite college football players, one of my favorite people in general, and brother Devon McDonald. Right. Devon is a former All-American at the University of Notre Dame, won a national championship with the Lou Holtz team, and then went on to play several years in the NFL. Devon, welcome to the show.
Yes, thanks for having me, man.
Amen. And along with him, I have my absolute favorite college football player there. That is my son, Randall Cork. Randall played wide receiver at University of Southern Illinois and also transferred to Valparaiso University. And he's doing great work in the community day. And I really miss going to those Saturday college football games with your son. But we're going to get into the state of college football. I think I have two experts with me today that can talk about this new era of college football. So here it is. If you watch the Bowl Championship Series, we watched a very disappointing game, I'm sure for you, but also for other people. The University of Ohio State won the national championship where they defeated the University of Notre Dame in the national championship game. But the entire tournament was incredible. Ohio State turned out to be the victor. But here it is. I'm looking at it. I'm not quite as excited or impressed with Ohio State the way I would have been in other years, because when you look at this NIL culture where they can actually pay players to perform, which I believe the players should be compensated, but Ohio State spent an estimated $20 million on their team. So to me, it seems like they bought a championship. But I'm going to start with the Notre Dame player. What are your thoughts on that there?
Well, I saw something recently about that, and yes, they spend the money, but you still have to play the game.
Amen. Okay.
So at the end of the day, you can, you see first guys get drafted first round. That don't mean he's going to be a great quarterback. You know what I mean? So not because you spend all this money, that's going to equate to success. So as much as I hate to say they're just a better team, they were the better team. And scheme-wise too.
Okay.
If you look at the scheme of how they attack us and things like that, they came at our weakness.
Okay.
And so when you look at the picture of it, I'm resting on that side. That wasn't about the money that they spent.
Okay. So you say the money wasn't the primary factor.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Randall, what are your thoughts on that there?
I think it's something to say about the money that goes into it. There's definitely athletes, when we talk about 4-star, 5-star, that get the big money bags that you say, I want to go to this school as opposed to Alabama, Georgia. I'm going to go to Ohio State because they're offering me the most. And I think in that situation, I do respect of players being able to get compensated for their work that they're putting in. But in some ways, it's kind of devalue the sense of education in that, of being able to just say, hey, it's more important for you to get paid for your play rather than just going to school. But I get, we're here to play football and do those different things, represent the university. So it's a good opportunity for them to do that.
Okay, well, let's get into this NIL, name, image, and likeness. It's a lawsuit that took place years ago, and now college football players who have for years been lobbying or asking for compensation for the university takes their picture and their jersey jersey, sell it, makes billions of dollars, and wouldn't give the athletes any of it there. But now the athletes have the right to make and share in the profits of their name, image, and likeness. So now, though, you see college athletes getting millions of dollars a year when they're supposed to be student athletes there. Both of you played in an era where there was no NIL. So I know for a fact that as a father, I had to supplement, your education, give you some things so you could buy basic needs and things with you as well, Devon. How do you guys just feel in general about this new generation getting money to play football?
Well, let me go back up a little bit.
Okay.
There's always been NIL.
Oh, okay.
It's just whether it was legal or illegal.
Oh, okay.
Right. So players are always getting paid. Trust me. It's just that today it's legal to get paid now.
Okay.
I
got you.
And now you can claim it on taxes. Back in the days, you couldn't claim it on a tax because you weren't supposed to, right? Uh-huh. So with that going on now, that there's guys that are getting paid today, getting those type of astronomical money, there's dangers that come with that.
Yeah.
Because when you put that much money in a young guy's hand, and the problem is not really the guy or the lady, it's the people around them. That now they're, they're the cash cow, basically, for a better term, right? And so now this person is put up on this pedestal, and they're now the one that everybody look to now. And from a spiritual aspect, are you dealing with their soul? Because now you're getting things from this person. Do you really care about that person?
Right.
Or you just care about what you're getting from them? You know what I mean? So there's a devalue in there because you realize, why do they really love you? Because of what you can give to them. You know what I mean? But even more than that, it's now you get this money. Are you going to get this money continuously? Because you have to play at that standard, right? Now, if you're not able to play, not able to go on and play, now you have made this money. Your spending has increased because now you spend more money than you ever spent before. Because, and here's the thing too, I've been experiencing it, being drafted. You think this is going to go on forever. Right. Like, this is not going to end. Like, once you start getting that money, the checks start coming in, this is not going to end. This is going to go on forever.
But it does.
It is. And having that mindset, and how many guys now are especially people around them, about investing, and even what we talked about earlier with the other guests about investing the money and having a more long-term look, getting life insurance and getting these things, putting these things in place while the money's coming in, because one day it's going to dry up. Because the NFL stand for not for long,
Okay, gotcha. All right. Randall, what do you think? I mean, you played in the era where you didn't get anything. You was constantly calling me for money and need money. How do you feel about these players getting money now to play football?
Well, first off, I kind of wish that, you waited about 5 years for me to be born so I could kind of, get into some of the different things. But, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
but
gotcha.
I come from, a little lower level of Division I, so we didn't get compensated as much for different things. So I remember, going to the cafeteria after it was closed, having to, find a way to get some Wendy's or something just to be able to eat, or getting cool with some of the girls basketball team that, were on scholarship. So, hey, we can use some of their meal money once ours run out so we can eat. But I do think it is important for the kids to be able to be compensated for that, because they put in a lot of time, they bring a lot of revenue for the university, and they're kind of in some way, shape, or form the face of the university. But it ultimately goes back to, like we said, it does matter because it has to be on the field where you have to compete and you have to be able to put those things into place. But you're responsible for making sure that you have what you need, doing all those different things. And that's why I say the education piece is so far as what you mentioned. Kids get this money and all of a sudden they don't know what to do with it. So those financial educational classes, those different things are important to be able to show with those kids, to be able to how to manage that, giving millions of dollars to an 18-year-old
right.
and they being able to be responsible with it.
Okay. Well, let's talk about just the origins and implementation of NIL to begin with there. For years, I believe the players have just been, done wrong. The school has been profiting off of their hard work, their image, and they weren't allowed to get anything other than tuition, room and board, and maybe a little meal money, books, things like that. While the university is making billions, not thousands, not millions, billions of dollars off of the work of the football players. So I think it's only right, only fair that the players begin to share some of that. But there has been pushback from the university. Universities fought this for years, didn't want the players doing everything. I looked at something just recently as these schools have different endowments. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Devon. I looked at a couple football teams, they were talking, and a lot of them, bigger programs, your Alabamas, Georgia, had endowments of $50-60 million. Maybe
billions.
Yeah, well, I'm here you go. They had like, maybe 80, 90, $100 million or so. But then I looked at Notre Dame, and it was in the double billions of dollars, their endowment. I think it was something like 13 billion or something. It far surpassed many other programs, everything. And so, to have that much money and then have the nerve to complain about giving students the student athletes a little bit about that. When you played, were you salty about that? Did you ever think about that there, or you just played football and didn't worry about it?
I would say salty, but definitely we knew that there's a big difference, right? Okay. That we were not able to access any funds. Once you're on scholarship, which was back then my scholarship was worth like $60,000 a year. So we weren't able to capitalize on it anyway. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, the school was in a position to make the money, right? And we were in a position to just go play the game of football, but not able to monetize it, and so how do we feel? Yeah, it wasn't a good feeling. Okay. So having to see that done today, what's taking place, I'm rejoicing, but then I'm looking like, wow, you know what I'm saying?
What about me? Yeah.
What about us? You know what I'm saying? We should get something, even today, wink, wink, but yeah, even then, because our jersey, right?
Right.
You have a guy like Rocket Ishmael back then. He was the third runner up for the Heisman Trophy. This guy could have made buku, a lot of money, but we were limited. And like I said, there were guys getting money back then.
Sure.
We
we can't talk about that. I don't know the statute limitations.
There was still money being made.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was legal or illegal, or based upon the circumstance. But it was just a tough time.
Sure.
And so to answer your question again, is that we knew that there was this difference, that we were not making the amount of money that we could be making,
Let me ask you, I got to know you after your career, everything there. Our paths crossed working for Sports World Ministries. But I knew who you were because being a Notre Dame fan, and that, year y'all went on the national championship run, everything. Well, twice went on the national championship run, everything. I remember the name, and now it's drawing a blank there. It was you. And two other people that were defensive, stars on. One gentleman went to the NFL and got killed, I believe.
Demetrius DeBose.
Devon McDonald, and there was another guy. But I remember a poster with you guys on there, seeing that there. And, it was for sale. And now that I think back on there, they probably sold millions of those posters and everything. And Devon didn't get a dime of that there. You're in the middle of the poster.
Here's the thing. The scholarship was worth so much,
sure,
right? And so that's what they put out there. It's like, these guys are getting free education. To get an education at Notre Dame is a big deal, right?
Sure,
and people, trust me, there are many people that sign up that want to get into Notre Dame and who actually get in.
Right.
If you ask most people, what's the attendance at Notre Dame? People think 20,000. It's less than 10,000.
Wow. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Small student body.
To get into Notre Dame is a big deal. You know what I mean? So they put that out there that, listen, you're getting this great education. You know what I'm saying? And they keep that in front of you as the carrot. It's like you're getting this great education. So, take your mind off potentially what money you can make and all that because you're making a lot of money on your scholarship.
Okay. Randall, I'll shift back to you. I mean, you talked about it, mentioned it, scholarship and the thing was what it was there. But there are times you struggled in school. Like you said, having to get in good with some of the girls basketball players who had more meal money than you guys had, everything. And now you look at it, they don't even go to the cafeteria. They can go out to steak dinners all the time now because of the money they're making, everything there. Does that make you feel a little salty, or how do you feel about it? Did you just enjoy playing football?
It does make you a little salty because you want to be able to eat most importantly, but it was more about the enjoyment of playing football than anything. There's ways around of making sure that you get what you need. You have a good support system. And don't get me wrong, the football team they did as DeJuan mentioned they took care of the people a little bit as much as they possibly legally could. Sure. But there's opportunities where we had to find ways of. Practice ends and the cafeteria was closed. We got to find ways to get something to eat. Mom and dad sent me a couple dollars so I can go get this McDonald's sandwich or something like that. Or Hot Pockets or mac and cheese or Uncrustables were the best way to eat and doing that. And unfortunately, that does hurt the athlete as far as nutrition to be able to compete with some of those different things.
So I don't think Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter had to worry about eating Hot Pockets this year at all.
I don't think that they ever did that.
So let me switch gears a little bit on that. Because of NIL, and now schools are still competing for athletes, but now there's money involved in it. Certain schools can offer an athlete more than another school. Mm-hmm. Has that shifted the fairness of the competition, do you think?
Well, think about it this way. I mean, a school like Notre Dame, a school like Ohio State, USC, or some of these big name schools, you're naturally going to attract talent anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think you still have to put that in there. You still have to be a team of a good reputation from an athletic standpoint. Now you add the funds to go along with it. It just makes it a little bit more appealing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But still. I think the premise or the key thing is that you're a good school with a good opportunity for them to be successful.
Okay. But look at this like this here. I forget his name, but the kid that University of Colorado just signed as their new quarterback, he's from California. Mm-hmm. Had offers from UCLA, mm-hmm. USC, all these big mm-hmm. schools. Mm-hmm. But Colorado had more NIL money, so he's leaving the state, going further away from his family, leaving some good programs. Mm-hmm. But because Colorado can offer him a little bit more money, that's mm-hmm. where he's go. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Either one of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Because think about it. I mean, he's going to go to potentially go to the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and so he could go and work, whatever his major is, he can go work in that organization or that company, right? Okay. But why would he choose to go to the NFL? Okay. Because he got a chance to further what he really wants to do, but he can make more money. Okay. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's...
Yeah, I mean, that goes across, all industries. So if you graduate college and you get an offer from, Roche Diagnostics, but then Eli Lilly offers you more money, you're probably going to go to Eli Lilly.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think, Randall? Does it make the college landscape fair or unfair, or how do you feel about it?
It still has a level playing field, in my opinion, because, you're talking more of the top tier high school talent that's kind of getting those deals of whether they're getting $1 million from USC or $500,000 from Texas, those top athletes. But at the end of the day, those 4 and 5 stars, 3 stars, 3 and 2 stars are most of the people who make up your teams. Those 4 and 5 stars are adding on to be the star players. Okay. And schematically, you still got to go out and play the game. Okay. So that's how you can still see Appalachian State beat a Michigan or those smaller schools, because they still have to go out and compete and use those talents to be able to win.
Okay. And you made a good point there. And Devon, you let me know this when our time worked together. College football has become pretty much just like the NFL when you look at this there. Because I didn't realize everybody on an NFL roster is not a millionaire. And so one of the things that, you guys at Sports will help me realize that, your quarterback may make, $150 million, but that second string lineman, he's making league minimum, but we all make up the same team. So as college football becoming, and here's the thing, knowing that, the disparity in how much you're getting paid in the NFL, did you see that be a problem? Or could it be a problem in college? We're talking much more younger and immature people when I'm getting $20,000, but my teammate over there is getting $1 million. How do you handle that?
Well, I mean, I think it's a personal thing. I mean, different people deal with different situation in different ways, just because you know your mindset. But from my perspective, I mean, if the guy is doing the work, he put in the work, and he's getting the money from it, I don't have no problem with that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But if you got a situation where a guy is not putting the work, and for whatever reason, maybe we talk about black man talk, maybe the color of his skin, you know what I'm saying, is causing the difference, then
There's a problem.
Then it has to become a big problem.
So do y'all think that exists within some of these college teams?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Now with a caveat, and the caveat is it's about a winning. It's saying in the NFL, you don't get paid to play, you get paid to win.
Okay.
And the same thing is in college now, because there's so much pressure on everybody now. You know what I mean, from the coaches and all this, everybody and the folks in the background, the people with all the money, the alumni and so forth. They want to see a winner.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, they're going to put people out there that can win. And so if you're making a lot of money, but you're not producing. Yeah. They don't go put up with it for so long,
right?
Because now you are affecting everybody. Now you're affecting the coaches and the organization.
And I guess that's true in any facet of life. There, if you're on a job and you're not producing, they're not going to keep you around there.
But I think it's also the note. So I think I'd heard Travis Hunter was one of them where they have a specific amount of NIL pot that they can share. He didn't take any of that, so that other linemen and other his teammates could be able to do that. So I think that that's also something that, is a goodwill of a teammate can be able to do that. But then that also puts pressure on the coach where they always have to constantly recruit kids every single year. And you see that a lot in basketball where there's a lot of one and dones and different things where they have to constantly, hey, Devon, you've been a great athlete. Come on back. Don't go to the NBA yet. But, we got to constantly recruit you instead of being able to transfer and do all those different things.
Okay. Hold that. We're going to get back to that because that opens up a whole nother door. I want to talk about this transfer portal as well, too, but we'll get right back to that. This is Black Coffee Talks, where black men get together and have bold, dark, unsweetened dialogue about the issues of today. This episode is sponsored by Primary Risk Management, where you get all your insurance needs taken care of, life, home, auto, and business. Make sure you check out Primary Risk Management for your insurance needs. Welcome back to Black Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Rodney Cork. I'm here with two former college football players, Brother Devon McDonald, Brother Randall Cork, and we're talking about the change and shift in college football and college athletics in general, because one was the NIL implementation where players can now get paid, but we opened the door right before we left, Randall, about the transfer portal. One of the things that you said is coaches are have to constantly recruit, but now the rules have changed where players can just jump in the portal and go from school to school to school. They don't have to sit out. They don't have to wait anywhere. They can just decide they don't want to play at this school anymore, transfer it to another school that wants them, or offers them more money, and then they just go. And so is that fair to have that open transfer rule like that there? What do you guys think of the transfer portal?
Well, I would say this. Because I grew up in an era that it was hard to transfer. Because if you did transfer, you had to sit out 1 year, and then within 4 years, it limits your time. You got people that. Ask your question again.
Is it fair? Is it fair for college football because of the transfer portal? Schools are putting a bind when their key player leaves to go to another school because they offer more money.
Yeah. Is it fair? No.
Okay. But it is what it is, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, plain and simple. They offer more money. See, right now, I'm talking to you, man. My brain is like, so maybe that's something else we could come back and talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. Because from a mental standpoint, man, the hits I've taken in the sport of football.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. The NFL level, high college level.
Yeah.
I know just him. Like I said, you play at a lower division level, but I know you suffer from some headaches and some aches and pains just from years of playing football. But let's get right back to the topic here at hand right now. Because schools and players can transfer so frequently and so often, has that made the game unfair? Because if you have a school that has a bigger NIL pot, just a bigger pot to draw from, they can go recruit, and losing one key player can really hurt a school for the next year.
Absolutely. I mean, that does change the whole entire landscape of different things. But I look at it from a different perspective. going through it myself, there's a lot of commitment to playing for a specific coach. And if that coach leaves, say they go take another job at another university, that's something I want to go play for that coach. So I have the ability to go and do that now, and I have to sit out a year. Or if my coach gets fired or something like that, I can go and find the best fit for me instead of having to stay here and be stuck in this situation and have to deal with somebody else wanting their own people come in.
I mean, I forgot you went through that exact situation.
Wow.
The coach that recruited you went to another university, and then the head coach came in and got fired. During that time there, you couldn't transfer without sitting out a year. Your time frame with Dad giving money was running out. We didn't have another year for you to transfer, so you had to stay at the school you're at, and the people that recruited you, were gone. So I understand that there. But I'm looking at it from the university of the football program standpoint as well too. We've invested in you. We've given you money. We've built our program around you, our plays and everything. And now you just decide to go to another school. It can put teams in a bind, but I guess that's just part of college football now. Mm-hmm. What about now? They've changed the rules too, where now players have more eligibility. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they say now if you go to junior college first, they don't even count those years as eligibility written. So you can go 2 years of junior college and still have 5 years of eligibility left at the D1 level. So you could be in school. We could have 26, 27-year-old athletes playing football against 18, 19-year-olds. Is that right as well?
Well, yeah, I would say yes. The linebacker from Notre Dame, the inside linebacker, forgetting his name, but he was 6 year. Wow. He was 6 year. And I think that's good too, because, a few years ago, remember, it was one and done.
Right.
What I mean? Guys coming out early, and you see the immaturity when they came to the pros. I'm saying that they couldn't sustain it, or they out of the league quickly. You know what I mean? So I think from a maturity standpoint, that's good.
Okay.
Because you have guys now that when they come into the NFL, yes, they're older, but then they're also more seasoned, more veteran minded. You know what I mean? Yeah, people with more stability and things like that. So I think, and then they go more likely going to finish their education. You know what I'm saying? And that,
good point.
Right, and they could get even post education. Now you can even get their masters, even doctorate. So I think from that aspect, it's surprising, but also beneficial.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Surprising the fact that why would you want to stay around that long? But beneficial in the fact that, man, you can, again, get all your degrees and probably be more productive,
Well, I'll tell you why you want to stay long. I have a personal example. I've got a personal acquaintance that his son played at the University of Maryland. And, I mean, he wasn't one of the most dominant players, everything, but he was there at a D1 program. He had his senior year. He graduated. Another school offered him, I think he said somewhere around $200,000 or so to go and transfer to that school. Now, he didn't have the prospect of going to the NFL. He knew his career was probably over. But he took that. His dad told him, take that $200,000. I mean, so now when you come out of college, you got your degree, you can buy a house, it sets you up for life. So why wouldn't you take advantage of that? Because nobody wants to go in the real world earlier than you have to. Everything there. So I think that's a great opportunity there.
Yes.
But as former college players, everything there, just put yourself in a position where, you're top quarterback. You guys are really thinking next year is going to be our year. We got the number one quarterback. We got offensive line and receivers that we built around him. But another school says, hey, we'll give you another couple $100,000 to come to me. And all of a sudden, you guys go from being ranked number one as being able to compete in the bowl championship series to ranked number 35th in the nation and everything there. How do you handle that internally among the team? Is that something that's going to be a problem?
Well, I when I look at the landscape of sports today, especially in college football, basketball too, but dealing with football, from my personal, it's like the ability to adapt, I think is critical today.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Because every year, a new quarterback. But back in the days, you have a quarterback coming up
3-4 years.
Yeah, by his third year, he's going to be very good.
Right.
Now, at Notre Dame, we have had 3 starting quarterbacks for the last 3 years.
Yeah, and it's going to continue. Yeah.
And I'm saying, when I look at just take Notre Dame for example, I'm like, wow, Marcus Freeman is a great coach. Because for you to be able to coach a new quarterback every year,
right,
teach him his system, like that. Now the advantage is you can bring them in December,
Right.
or you know,
But that's still not a lot of time.
That's still not a lot, it's still within a year. You know, it's months. It's not years. You know, so I look at it today. I'm like, but those that can make those adjustments, and I remember Bill Belichick said it best, man. That the reason why he was able to win is that he makes adjustment. I remember when they played against the Atlanta Falcons, right? And they went at a halftime down 28-3.
Yeah, greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
And he said, you know, they asked him, what adjustment are you going to make? He said, we're going to make. He said, we've been making adjustment. So he was adjusting the whole time. So by the time it came out second half,
you came back and won the game
because it's adjustment. It's how can you adjust? And I think that's one of the great thing today in sport is that teams now that can adjust, adapt, change, transform, keep moving.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Keep innovating. Those are the teams that's winning today. But isn't that life though?
Yeah, exactly.
Every day in our personal life situation is not going to be the same. How can you adjust, adapt, innovate, and you know, because this is the day that Lord has made.
Good point.
It's a brand new day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday might have been great, but today might be. How you going to adjust it today? You know what I'm saying? How you going to deal with this day?
Okay. Randall, what do you think? Everything?
Yeah, I totally agree. It is about adjustments because, you know, just looking at example of LSU, Joe Burrow came from different school, transferred in. That's still an adjustment LSU had to make and put the pieces around him and make that. Now that team was kind of a super team with, you know, all the weapons around him, but you still have to be able to gel all those things together and make that work. So, and then, you know, you also think about Alabama when they had Tua and Jalen Hurts, you know, those different situations.
Changed
quarterbacks at half times and, you know, those adjustments that they made. So it is a landscape where you always have to constantly adjust.
Okay. I want to shift the gears a little bit there. You know, as a football fan and somebody who didn't play at a high level football at all, but just loved the game, I'm starting not to love the game as much as I used to. And a lot of the rules have changed. A lot of ways they call the games have changed there. And as just the average fan.
I'm going to sit up for that one.
Okay. It's just the average fan. It's not the same to me. To me, football has gotten soft to what I'm used to seeing in the 70 days. Now, I know it's still a man's game and we're out there competing, but you can't touch the quarterback now. You can't put your hand on it. You hit somebody who, you know, just a hard hit back in my day. Now it's targeting and you're getting thrown out the game there. As players who've played more recently and seen it, how do you feel about a lot of the rule changes? You're on the defensive side, Devon.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the changes there, especially not being able to touch the quarterback?
Well, you know, I play at Notre Dame. I play with along with a coach named Joe Moore. Matter of fact, they named an award after him now. He put out a lot of offensive linemen into the NFL. And so he loved me because I was freshman. And I used to hit I used to just love beating up his offensive lineman. So he loved that, you know what I mean? Because he wanted, you know. And I never forget what he told me. He said, you know, not maybe in my lifetime, but in your lifetime, football is going to be flag football. I didn't know what flag football was. Look at the Pro Bowl today. What is the Pro Bowl?
Flag football.
Flag football.
Yeah.
And I look at this thing, and so as I look at it now, is it softer? Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not the same game that even when I played, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they just celebrate hits.
Yeah,
you know
exactly,
what I'm saying? I mean, it's like that's
yeah.
the reason why people spend money, want to come to the game, is because them hits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And today, I call it the Brady rule.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Ever since that year when Brady got hit, he was out for a year. They're like,
losing the money. Yeah.
We're going to lose money. You know what I'm saying? So now a quarterback now can play 20-something years. Mm-hmm. Back in the days, quarterback not playing no 20 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
look at Dan Marino and all the health issues they have now after, you know. And so,
absolutely. So so that's the game has changed, and unfortunately, now it's changed. In some ways, they think it's beneficial. Okay, so you don't hit as much. Mm-hmm. The courts, you can only hit so many days, so many days in pads. Mm-hmm. Well, our day, we hit all the time. Mm-hmm. So when I got hit in the game, it was no big deal.
Right.
You know, howbeit, the example you guys just saw when my mind kind of went. Mm-hmm. So we have to deal with that.
Okay.
But today, you have guys who the first time they take a hit is in the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's in practice, I can deal with it, choke it off.
Right.
When it's in a game, everybody's watching you now. Matter of fact, they have cameras set up just to watch each player after the hit to see how they respond. And if they kind of wobble a little bit, guess what? We're going to take them to the tent. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, you have that going on today, and it definitely has changed the game. You know, is it safer? Guys are getting hit today, and them getting hit. The pain that they're feeling and so forth, I think it's a great. Now the helmets are better, and they even have those bigger helmets now. You know, the guys are wearing for the concussion, things like that. But still, I think I go back to saying, when you get hit that hard. Now here's another thing: it's faster today, right?
Yeah,
guys are bigger, faster, stronger. So the hits are harder. Is harder today. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if the first time you feel that hit is in a game, your body's going to respond in a way, you know, it's going to respond in a way to put a guy in a tent.
Hold that thought. I'm going to get back there, but I want to give Randall a chance to jump in. You on the offensive side of the ball, everything, so you getting a hit sometime as a receiver. Do you think the rules are better, or has the game gotten soft?
There's parts of it where I do feel that it's better. You know, as a receiver, I can run around now and not get touched, and I appreciate that, because I don't have to worry about you know, running across the middle and Ray Lewis, you know, coming to take my head off or something like that, and doing that. But there's parts of it where if I'm, you know, trying to lead block for my teammate, or, you know, doing that where they always teach defensive player, keep your head on a swivel, you know, look for me so I'm not peeling back on a crackback block. You know, those are kind of opportunities where it's like, you know, it's kind of football. You know, I'm kind of looking to, you know, making sure my teammate doesn't get tackled in some instances, but I can get thrown out of the game for that now.
Man, it's so funny you mentioned that, because, I mean, you know, as a father, I'm looking at some film you in high school, and those are some of my most proudest moments. I've seen you just level some people on some crackback blocks there, everything. That's not allowed anymore, anything there, you know, and that's, to me, that should be part of the game there, but, you know, you can't do that. And I understand people getting hurt. I'm going to come back to Devon to talk about some long-term effects, but, you know, the same thing, as an offensive player, you said, you know, you'd be happy to take some of the hits you have, but isn't that what you signed up for?
It is, but who wants to be able to take hits like that? You know, as he said, it's bigger, faster, stronger. So, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we can do all we want to do to try and alleviate some of that stuff, but if you're still getting hit by a 300-pound lineman, I'm at 195 pounds, it's still going to have some effect on you, you know? So.
I remember, I watched the interview. It was Michael Irvin, former Dallas Cowboy player, and he was talking to some college or some high school players there, and one of the receivers there didn't stretch out for a catch. And Michael Irvin was getting on, you got to stretch up. And the guy like, you know, if I do that, I might get knocked out. And Michael Irvin said, that's what being a receiver is about. Sometimes you get knocked out, but you just got to take it, everything. Do you agree with that, or should we be more concerned about the hits? And that?
Absolutely. I'm a proponent, put the body on the line and catch the ball. If it hits your hands, you need to catch it. So,
okay, all right. Devon, I'm going to get back to you, though. You talked about, you know, some long-term effects. You went on to play in the NFL for several years there, and you say, you know, you still suffer some effects from that today. So, you know, looking back, was it worth it, or, you know, would you have rather had these rules back when you played?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm an originalist. Just make up that word, I think. And I love the game the way it was. I mean, because that's the way I know the game. You know what I mean? I love the hitting. I love it. And would I want the rules to have changed? Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Even dealing with what I'm dealing with now, I still
that's football.
I still like the game the way it was, because I believe that's the way the game should be played. You know what I'm saying? It's a physical game, and you coming in knowing that's a physical game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like anything else. When you go into it knowing what's all entail, you either sign up for it or you don't. And once you sign up for it, you know, you're going and you deal with the consequence of it.
Interesting. I'm going to I know a lot of people know your background, but you're originally, they can tell by listening to you, you're not from here. You're born and raised in Jamaica. You came in to the United States when you were in junior high, I think you said, something like that there?
Yeah.
Okay.
11 years old, yeah.
So had never seen or played American football. How does someone come,
I know,
move to New Jersey, see American football, and end up taking it up to a point where you made it to the NFL. Tell us a little about that.
I blame the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
Because I was watching a game and I saw a guy came and went boom. I said, yeah, man.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, I said, yeah, man. Okay. I want to play that game.
So tell us about your first football experience here.
So, ironically, the coach put me at running back. So the guy came to school and he's like, "We want to sign up for football." So I told me I'm a twin brother. I'm a twin, and so we signed up for football. So we went out and so we went into his backyard and he teaching me how to run the ball. And so he said, "You're running back." So and he put my brother, I think, like flanker or something like that. And so we were our first jamboree, first game. I got the ball running. Boom! Got flipped over 2 times. Yep. And you know, I work at a sports world. I shared this story before. The next day I came to practice. Our coach called me over and said, "McDonald, come here." He said, "You from Jamaica?" I said, "Yeah, man." My accent wasn't even stronger then, right? I said, "Yeah, man." He said, "You showed me something yesterday, man. Most people who get hit like that who never played again wouldn't have come back today, you know." And he said, he said, if you're bad as a puppy, you're bad as a dog. You know,
I like that.
He said, there's something in you, man.
Okay.
And so it is the first time I think ever that, you know, as a young boy coming from Jamaica, learned the game, I could see myself at a higher level, you know, playing in a higher place.
So tell me about, you played for the legendary Lou Holtz. Tell me how you got to get recruited by Lou Holtz, and give me a Lou Holtz story there.
So Lou Holtz got recruited. So I went to 2 high schools. So I went to Eastside High School. Joe Clark leaned on me. So I went to that high school. Well, they fired the head football coach, Chris Olsen. Chris Olsen, whose son is Greg Olsen.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I knew Greg when he was Little Shrimp, you know? And so when they fired the coach, when they fired Chris, Chris, I had a letter from Penn State University.
Okay.
So I was like, when the new coach came in, he said none of you can make it to Division I college. So Chris Olsen's friend was at the rival school, Kennedy High School. So we started talking, and I transferred out of Eastside. My brother stayed, and so I went over there.
Oh wow, your brother stayed. So y'all two separate high school, twin brothers. Wow.
Twin brothers.
Okay.
And you know, the rival game is against those 2 teams. You know, and so I transferred out, and so with the new coach over there at the school, I'm getting recruited from these different schools now, along with Penn State and all them. So Notre Dame came. Lou Holtz came to my high school. I'm from Jamaica, man. Notre Dame, well, really, I was used to watch the U, Miami.
Okay.
Miami was winning back then. So when my coach kept pushing Notre Dame, I'm like, okay, I don't know Notre Dame because Notre Dame wasn't winning. They wasn't a winning team, you know. But so Lou Holtz came to visit the high school. The mayor came. I mean, all these people came, and I'm like, this is a big deal, man. You know, so they all came to the school. And so we went into the room to go watch film. So my coach had all my highlight film and everything. And he popped on a game. And I was playing left defensive end. And they ran like a toss player, you know, like a sweep, they call it. And on the other side, I ran down the line and tackled the guy in the backfield on their sideline.
Wow.
And Lou Holtz said, turn off the tape. And the coach said, no, we got more. He said, no. That right there is what I'm looking for. I want somebody who's going to make a play that is not their play to make, but they show that. Lou Holtz story real quick. So I'm at Notre Dame. We're 11-0, and we're playing in the national championship game. And so this is the last practice now. Right? I mean, when I say we practice hard.
Wow.
Right? So Lou Holtz said, we got one more thing to practice. Practice? Coach, man, I mean, we have worked hard. He said, we're going to practice how we're going to celebrate after we win.
All right. I like it.
What?
No, that's
so he had the clock, people, run the clock, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We supposed to jump up celebrating, And as a freshman, so me and my freshman partner, we were supposed to put the senior of our position on our shoulder, walk across the field. We practiced that for like 20 minutes, man.
Wow.
And guess what happened 2 days later?
You did it.
We exactly did it.
We
were national champions.
You don't expect to win, you won't win.
Yeah, man.
Good. Randall, I'll share a little story about you, but I want you to kind of elaborate. I remember, growing up, baseball was probably your number one sport when you were little. You start playing football in junior high, I believe. But I remember as a freshman in high school there, you got into a couple games, a defensive back, and really thought that was going to be your track to play DB. But I remember you went to a 7-on-7 tournament down in Bloomington, IU, and I wasn't able to go. And I remember your mother just kept calling me like, Randall scored a touchdown. I'm like, what, did he get an interception? She said, oh, they got him playing receiver. And, I'll let you tell the story that day, but what happened to make that transition from defensive back to receiver and how that changed your trajectory?
So it's a little interesting that we just went where they have varsity and JV playing in the same tournament. So I was playing a lot of JV, a receiver, and different things, and I was kind of doing well. So they said, why don't you come up to varsity and try it? You're playing well up there. First play on the main field, I run a post route deep down the middle of the end zone. Nobody's within 10 yards of me. Jackson, our state championship quarterback from the year before, throws me the ball and goes right through my hands. I drop it. And so I run Destrano back to the huddle, and he says, don't worry about it. Just get these drops out the way, and you'll be good from there. And so I went back to JV, and for some reason that just gave me the confidence where I realized I'm dominating against these JV guys. I can do this against the varsity. And so I got another shot against varsity, and the rest is history. I just went and kept making play after play after play, and, they gave me a shot, and I was able to start from sophomore year on.
Wow. Absolutely. And I remember that there because, like I said, we were expecting to play defensive back, and your mom kept calling me. And she talked about that you ran back and forth from JV varsity all day to the point where you cramped up bad on the way home and everything there, but it changed your whole trajectory and everything there. Great guy. So, guys, I'm going to wrap up with this one thing, then I'll have my final thoughts there. But you guys obviously have enjoyed the game of football. Looking at it now, I know you have a son there, you have daughters, but maybe someday you'll have a grandson or so. Would you want your grandson or son to play football in today's era?
Would I want them to?
Mm-hmm. Would you encourage it?
Oh, you sneaky, Rodney.
Okay.
Would I encourage them? I don't know if I would encourage them. I wouldn't discourage them.
Okay.
I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would just, let them see the landscape of sports. 'Cause I think competition is good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think you'll learn some of the values from competition that not that you can learn it in other places,
right.
but you just bring it in
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. Sports and the competition really influence the type of person, the leadership, the leader you can become. Exactly.
Yeah, well, they said, how you play your sport is how you play life.
Yeah.
So you really can tell a lot about a person by how they play sports. So that's what I would encourage him to do, so would it be football? And if it's football they love, then yeah.
Okay. Randall, you're talking about my grandson, one I love, everything now. And we were just playing around with the football last night, everything there. But, Ryan is, 5 years old now? So it's almost time to sign up for football. What are you thinking?
Well, of course, he's expressed interest. He wants to play. But, I wouldn't be one where I'm going to force him to say, hey, you got to get out there and do it. I'm exposing him to a bunch of different things. But I look back on some advice somebody said to me is, don't get out and do it unless you absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. So because, in football, you're going to get hit. And if you don't love it, there's a lot of football players that turn into basketball players because of that. So if he loves it, you're more willing to get up and keep going and keep fighting and play another day. So.
Yeah. I'll end with a funny story, everything, and my son knows, being a preacher kid, I always use him as illustrations anyway. But I remember your first football practice. You didn't play football till you were in junior high school. Can't remember the circumstances, but baseball and basketball are you as a sport, and I wanted you to play football. You played when you were in 7th grade. I remember taking you to get the equipment, and I took off work early to come watch your very first practice. And here he was on practice, and they had him playing linebacker, and he rolled out to catch a guy going around the end, and the lineman pulled, came over, and I watched my son get hit and just flip and roll down the field. But I watched him, and as funny as that was, I watched him, and he laid there for a second. He jumped right back up, and he ran back to the huddle, and he kept on playing, didn't quit. And I remember later on that season, his coaches complimenting just how they love his toughness and how they love, his commitment. He does everything they wants him to do, and he turned into be one of the best hitters on the team. Whoa. Everything there. So I love that about you. Everything there. I believe that Dad had a little bit of influence in that there kind of toughness you had. Everything there, but I loved and enjoyed watching you play football. Loved and enjoyed watching you play football. Happy to get to know you after that there and do the man that you are. And I think football played a valuable part in the development of both of you as men and as leaders in the community there. I hope you agree with me with that there, but I think you guys are better men because of your experiences on football. So we're going to come back with the final thought there, but I want to thank my guest, Brother Devon McDonald, former University of Notre Dame player, and Randall Cork, former Valparaiso University player, talking to us about the state of college football. Right after this commercial, I'll come back with my final thought. Once again, this episode of Black Coffee Talks is sponsored by 2 Cups a Day Cafe, the place where you get all of your beverage needs taken care of, whether it's coffee, tea, latte, or smoothies. 2 Cups a Day is the place where you want to be. You've got to always remember 2 Cups a Day Cafe because there's no other way when it's a 2 cups type of day. Welcome back to Black Coffee Talks with Rodney Cork. I want to thank my guests again, Devon McDonald, Randall Cork, for sharing with us the state of college football. As I talk to both of them, I'm excited. I'm happy to reminisce about their football careers and the things I grew up loving about football. But also I'm concerned about the state of college football with the NIL and with the transfer portals. I see just the game getting a little bit out of hand, and there's a fear because another thing that I think is a threat to college football is the implementation of legalized gambling. So now you also get people that are paying players to play. You have the influence of gamblers in Las Vegas involved. And we've seen, hints of it, but I think it can grow more and more out of control. I pray college football remains a just stalwart and good part of American culture, but we also have to be careful and monitor. I am 100% in support of players getting compensated for the time, the effort, the pain that they put in and put on their bodies to play football, plus the disproportionate profits that the schools are making. It should be shared with the players. But with all the other things going on there, we have to be careful about how we implement this there. I do believe there needs to be some type of regulation, and I believe it's coming, but always make sure that we implement that the players should be compensated in some type of way. We've just got to make it a fair way so that there's no outside influence. That's my thought on it there. This has been Black Coffee Talks. Again, I thank you for tuning in today. I encourage you to go to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe to our channel so you get all the episodes. We'll be back with another episode soon. Until we meet again, may God bless you. May God keep you. That's my prayer. This is Black Coffee